I got into college, and the whole idea of festivals, like, came to light, and someone was like, you should go to Electric Daisy Carnival, like, that's gonna be so fun. And it was like 2012 or 13, and me and a bunch of my friends went, and I started to really grasp this idea of that lifestyle. And it kind of reminded me similarly of going to these rock shows and seeing those same people there. It was like, your family, like your crew that you would be with and love this music together with. And but instead of a mosh pit, it was a dance floor, and it was just it really like grabbed onto me. And so I started kind of delving into what we would consider EDM music. Then a friend of mine showed me house music, and I knew what it was. I knew what it sounded like, but it wasn't until I ended up at Playground one night and saw Ben and Elio play that it really, like, literally and figuratively took a hold of me. And I'll never forget the experience of that night. It was insane. Like, it was so crazy to me. Yeah. When I first started rolling with the Dazed and Confused crew, I was actually just promoting, helping out with decorations, with lights, because I was a theater major, so those were kind of my specialties. And as I went to a party, I was like, hey, you really need help with this, like, I can offer those. And I just remember one night, I had always liked the idea of being a DJ, but not in this sense. I liked the idea of curating moments in certain situations, and like being able to know when to put on the perfect song. Like, that was always my thing. I loved doing that. And even it's just hanging out with friends at a party and putting on the right song, like that was a great feeling to me, and I loved that. And so I started to grasp that that's what they were doing. And so I had mentioned that I had wanted to learn, and was told that if I wanted to learn, all I had to do was hang out with them. And so that's what I did. And I learned physically, like, how to play through Ben, and just hours of practicing at his apartment. And sometimes sparingly, like sometimes an hour here, an hour there, sometimes for a long time. And it was incredible because I knew that I sucked like really bad. There's no way you can start something like that and just become amazing at it. Like, there's no way. It's practice. And I was pleased in every aspect of the way that he took control of that form of teaching, and was like, this is how you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn. You're gonna touch vinyl first. You're gonna not be one of those fake DJs. Like, you're gonna do this the right way. It was a combination of things. I definitely learned music theory and what I like and what the sounds that I like from Elio. I'm very influenced by the sound that he brought, and I took my own form of that as well, because I'm very inspired, like, by the rock and indie scene that I grew up in. And so techno takes a lot of those forms, and it's so beautiful to see it transposed in such an amazing way. I'm like, this is a techno breakdown, but I feel like I'm in a metal show, like, and I love that.
We brought Project Pablo out from, I think he's in Montreal now. And so that show, Michael wasn't able to, like, get the amount of money, or it didn't work quite right at Congress. There's something else booked. So we put that across the street at Solar Culture. And that was just kind of too big of a bill for Michael to foot on his own. So he got together with Dazed and, like, co-booked the show, and we had some of their folks play and some of our folks play. That's really what I met most of them, and saw their music and they heard my music for the first time. It's nice to play with them because they bring a crowd out. People show up for Dazed and Confused, and it was really nice to not have to worry about, like, having come from organizing shows, not having to worry about inviting everyone that's going to show up. It's great to, like, see the community that they built and the people that come out and are excited about their music.
I've always loved music. Even as a little kid, my parents never played any instruments, but they were always into music. And I'm kind of more or less a disco baby. Well, my dad was on the country side of things, which I was too young to appreciate then anyway. But my mom, she was always in the disco, and I just grew up a disco baby. I got into spinning in like '97. It was shortly after going to my first warehouse party. A good friend of mine that I lived with, Damien, and Matt, they were actually down in Mexico, and they came back from Rocky Point trip, and they're like, oh my God, you gotta check this out. There's this new music that we've never heard of. I was like, huh, what are you talking about? Because I was always into hip hop back then, as were most people. And they're like, yeah, it's called trance, and it's just like so crazy because everybody is super friendly and this and that, and the music's just like dope, whatever. Long story short, we went to our first warehouse party, and I was basically hooked after that. Like, it was nuts. I've always been like a huge lover of loud bass, and obviously there was loud bass in this warehouse party. But there was this DJ on stage, and just controlling the music with turntables. I was like, what the hell is going on? This is so crazy, you know? Like, it was so dope. And after that, I was pretty much hooked. Damien was hooked. My other friend Matt was hooked. And like I said, I lived with Damien at the time, and probably about 7 months after that, he got turntables, and then the rest was history.
Deep down, like, you know, the bottom line for me is I love this music so much that if I come to a place where, like, or if I meet someone that does not know about it, I will try everything that I can to like show it to him or to her. On a larger scale, like, the city like doesn't have a place where you can hear this music. And by hear, I don't mean just like press play and hear on it. You have to experience it. My instinct was like, let's create a place where we can play the music that we love, and we can give the people the chance to see if they like this music by experiencing it. We're gonna give this experience to people, see if they actually like this music. Because guess what? Everywhere, I mean, in many places in the world, this music is the music that people love, and, you know, the music that, you know, makes their heart beat. Like, so why can't it be here? Yeah, it's not that everything is good back home. Like, you don't know like how many kids back home like love and this music and like would love to have the opportunity to play, but they don't. Because the scene is so saturated that like they don't get a place where they can play. Everything is run by like the bigger sharks and things like that, you know, especially now with the crisis and all that. But here, space, energy. All it takes is some mad work. It's just a matter of time. And I can sense already like this happening. Even here, I think one of the reasons that why we've been, you know, sort of successful is because, you know, the word is getting out. Like, even out here in the desert, that house music is cool. It's always been cool. It's always been about, you know, the heart of club culture and dance culture.